Hi, folks. Welcome back to Pop Pop Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we're back with more of Marvel's The Falcon and The Winter Soldier. Best buddy cop show of all time so far.
They haven't been buddies
They
in
have
it yet.
not. No, it was a joke. They were not together, much to everyone's chagrin, last week. I think that'll change this week.
Yeah.
And I definitely, unfortunately, have been spoiled a little bit about this episode, mainly due to thumbnails from other YouTube channels.
That's just not kind.
You know, it's hard out there for a pimp, and sometimes... What? Am I not allowed to say that?
No. No,
Okay.
you're never allowed. One, never allowed to say that. Two, that's very unkind to the other YouTubers, no matter how unkind they were, putting spoilers
Apologies to my fellow YouTubers. However... It is. I mean, I get it. What I meant was that it's hard to sell your video. It's hard to, bust your rear end to get it filmed and get it edited and get it out. We're way late getting to this.
For sure.
Because of Heidi's work schedule. It's all your fault, honey. Anyway, just an aside. It's all her fault. Anyway, but I mean, I get it.
That you want to put an enticing...
you feel like a lot of people have already seen it, and they're going to be seeing it before they come to your channel. Which is likely true, hopefully before they watch your video. But if your thumbnail has a spoiler in it, I don't know. I think it's being a little bit risky. So, and now then again, because we're usually late, sometimes I do put spoilery images in thumbnails. I'm thinking of WandaVision, a couple of things. However, it was like days after the episode premiered that I did that. So, I don't know.
I don't know, nobody's really agreed, popular opinion online, what the grace period is for spoilers for things that have aired. When there's a series that drops in full, like on Netflix, how long after it drops can you talk about it? I'd say give it a week so that people have enough time. If it's something like this, I'd say 2 days, 48 hours is probably... well enough to get to the people who want to see it without spoilers.
But you say that, and there are people that will jump all over you for spoiling The Sixth Sense or something. And it's
I'm like...
It's like 20 years old.
Well, there was somebody...
Have you seen Haley Joel Osment? He's like somebody's granddad right now.
Yeah, there is somebody I used to work with, and she was... Here's a spoiler alert for The Empire Strikes Back. Did not know that Darth Vader was Luke's dad.
What?
Yeah, this was 5 years ago, and she had a little boy too. I'm like, how did you not know that? She was like, I just didn't know. I'm like,
hopefully I had the hindsight as I'm editing this, or the foresight as I'm editing whatever sight. Hopefully I remembered to put the little Princess Leia clip of her saying what in there.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so that floored me because I thought that was just literal pop culture common knowledge. Even the every other show saying, Luke, I am your father, which is not even the line.
Right.
But everything else has done a spoof of that too. Everyone's done a spoof of It's a Wonderful Life. That's just common pop culture knowledge. But nothing's common, so you just have to kind of make sure that people don't know.
Right.
If, hey, have you watched this show? Do you care if I talk about it? I mean, those are just two questions anybody can ask, about that sort of thing. I refused to watch Bird Box for a really long time, just because everybody wanted me to watch it. I didn't know anything about it, and then finally, last week while I was away in a family's, with family, they decided to watch it. So I was
Bird Box, that's the Kentucky Fried Chicken story, right?
Yes, in fact, it is. Colonel Sanders and his.
No, don't tell me how it ends.
Okay.
I like a good horror movie.
But, everyone had decided to watch it. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time. But,
sure.
People asked me.
When is it not time for a good Bird Box?
Right. People asked me when it was coming out. And
if that's a competitive sport, I think the, SPCA or the, what is it? The
PETA? Let's not get them on us for any reason.
Yeah, they would have something to say about bird boxing, I would think.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, so there are certain things that I refused to watch Tiger King also. It's just everyone
was... That's a Marvel hero, I think, too.
I think so, yeah. Everyone was into it and I wasn't. But, we
back
digress.
To your Star Wars analogy, as far as pop culture things, and we're off on a tangent. Welcome.
That's what we do.
If you are invested in pop culture, in any capacity or in film in any capacity, I would think there are certain things that you could not avoid. For instance, I've been enjoying, and we're going to shout out a little channel here, but I've been enjoying watching, and I hope I don't mispronounce her name, Chanel Riccio. I think she's a filmmaker herself, and she's done some acting and that kind of thing, but she's watching like classic movies, like older movies that are recommended to her. And she just finished watching the original Star Wars trilogy for the first time.
Wow.
And there were certain things that she was like, okay, yeah, I know that Darth Vader is Luke's father. I know that, I think she knew that who the siblings were. I think she knew.
What?
Yeah. I think she knew, certain things about, like, she knew the Emperor's name, even though they never say his name.
No, they don't.
In the original trilogy, she knew that his name was Palpatine. So there were things that just through pop culture stuff she had assimilated.
Yeah.
And she talked about it after the fact. And I'm like, yeah, because you would. Like, if you're into film, even if you had never seen Star Wars, there are things about it that I think you would pick up. There are people that have never seen The Mandalorian that have seen Baby Yoda's face, Grogu's face, on everything under the sun.
Yeah.
So
they love Baby Yoda, and they don't not necessarily watch the show.
Some things, right? But anyway, yeah, I've been enjoying her reactions, and that was just something that she literally was talking about the other day. That there are just things that she's picked up, and about other movies too, like Back to the Future and things like that, that just are pop culture knowledge, common knowledge among even people that haven't seen the movie, because it's such a part of everything pop culture.
I think I hadn't seen Back to the Future until
you
just
probably
a few
saw
years
the third
ago.
one first.
I did see the third one first. Yes, I did see the third one first. I don't think I've ever seen the full length of the second one, and I didn't see the first one until a few years ago.
How did you not see the second one when we just showed those movies to the kids not long ago?
I think I fell asleep.
Uh-huh.
I think Army of Darkness also has a period of 20 minutes where I think I've sat through
every time.
Every time. I think we've tried to have me watch it about 5 times. One time even in a theater where they were showing it over again, just for fun, and I fell asleep in the theater in that same spot. I don't know what it is.
I honestly hope Bruce Campbell sees this and shames you on social media.
Bruce Campbell, please don't shame me. I love you, Bruce Campbell. I actually went to see you twice and had you sign a book for me.
She did, actually.
I did. Thank you. Please don't hate me.
Anyway, enough of our nonsense. Let's dive into The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Although, to be honest, if you've been following any of this so far, any of us reacting to anything, we're weird, we're silly, and that
we usually film late. We usually film late at night. Usually after I'm done with a long stretch of shifts at work. So I'm usually slap happy and a little loopy.
And right now we're filming under some pretty bright lights, and the air conditioning's not working great. So we've got a fan overhead that's not quite keeping us cool. So it's not the most comfortable experience. But we're here for you. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm getting at.
We do it for you guys.
Anyway, we're gonna jump in. Heidi, do you want to do a quick recap of where we left off last week?
Okay, so
we
last
said that
week,
they didn't see each other.
They did not see each other. So we saw Sam, give up the shield, go back home and try to
the Smithsonian,
apparently, or whatever.
Presumably,
yeah, because actually the Smithsonian actually exists in this world too.
Sure.
Not some weirdly renamed Smithsonian. That's the Smithsonian. He went back home to help
Alfred E. Smithsonian Institute.
To help his sister with the family boat and business, and was turned down
in Louisiana.
Yeah, in Louisiana, right. And then we also saw Bucky going to therapy, trying to make amends, right his wrongs. And
Bucky in therapy, lots of laughter to be had there.
Of
Good
course,
stuff.
Actually, I would watch full sessions of his therapy.
Just to be fly on the wall.
Yeah, just to see how that.
Pretty sure there are rules against that.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but watched him attempt a date. Being all old school, bringing flowers.
Yeah.
That didn't work out so well either.
And then we saw that Sam's new acquaintance Torres with the military had his fingers on the pulse of a new terrorist organization. Man, you're clanging that thing around. It's like a dinner bell. It's making me hungry. Torres kind of put Sam onto the track of this thing, got a little bit too close to the terrorist organization and got a beating for it. So he's put Sam onto their scent. I'm guessing we'll pick up some of that this week.
Yep.
And then the episode ended with the reveal that the Smithsonian did not still have Cap Shield.
Nope.
In fact, the government had turned that over to their brand new Captain America, played by Wyatt Russell, by the way, Kurt Russell's son. who looks a lot like his dad from some angles.
I have
to say that last shot of him winking at the camera didn't do a lot to endear him to fans of Captain America.
Nope.
I think that's by design. Y'all go easy on Wyatt Russell. Okay, he was hired to play a part. And we're going to get to know this character a little bit better. And in the comics, U.S. Agent, he's not a bad guy. Okay, so he's no Captain America, but he's not a bad guy. Okay, so we're going to dive in and see what we think. This episode is called The Star-Spangled Man. Here we go.
Everybody in the world expects me to be something, and I don't want to fail them.
Listen, this suit comes with expectations, bro.
Now, in the comics, he had a Bucky-like sidekick called Battlestar, which I'm wondering if this is that character.
I just have to wonder. I mean, yes, he's a military guy, but has he been enhanced at all?
John, I think the first thing everyone wants to know is, what is it like being Captain America?
It's the greatest honor of my life.
For those of you who aren't familiar with John's resume, John Walker, first person in American history to receive 3 medals of honor, and you tested off the charts in every measurable category: speed, endurance, intelligence.
Look, here's the thing. Just I don't have super strength. But what I do have is guts. I got big shoes to fill.
Did you know Steve Rogers?
I liked that what I was doing would make people feel safe. Steve Rogers was the kind of guy who could do that. He gave me hope. Even though
I think that's fair.
I mean, nothing he's saying is bad.
You had no right to give up the shield, Sam.
Hey, you're not going to come here in your overextended life and tell me about my rights. Besides, I have bigger things to deal with now.
What could be bigger than this?
This guy. His connections with rebel organizations all over Eastern and Central Europe, and he's strong. Too strong. So I have a feeling they might be a part of the Big Three.
What big three?
Androids, aliens, and wizards. Every time we fight one of the three.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
What do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out. See my point? I don't.
Hipster Bucky.
So what's our plan? Great. So no plan. 30 seconds!
Really?
There you go.
All of that on camera, you know that, right?
Aw.
Get out of my face, Sam, or I'll break it.
You got to wonder with the speed of the plane, like where
Airspeed
he
velocity
landed.
of an
Yeah.
unladen sparrow?
Wait, African or European?
I don't know that.
I see a clear path. I say we take it.
We're not assassins. Look at you. Little time in Wakanda and you come out White Panther.
It's actually White Wolf.
Huh?
I got a vibranium arm. I can take the thing.
And I can fly. Who gives a shit? Wait. There's 2 people. You only see 2?
That's what I
Let me see what Red Wing sees. Oh, look at that.
Five.
How many people you see now?
Oh.
There's an 8th person. I think they have a hostage.
Oh. Hi, I'm Bucky Barnes. I'm here to rescue you.
You know they see you, right?
Yeah. Right? How are they not leaning out the window shooting?
Oh, I don't think this is a hostage.
Yeah. Wow. So we've got some that are just as strong as him.
I always wanted to do that.
Good of you to join the fight, Sam.
Welcome to the party, pal. Oh. Oh, so weird hearing that music for him, though.
Sam, John Walker, Captain America.
'Cause-
But Bucky gave it back to him.
yeah.
Oh,
Oof. Woo.
Little girl, kick your ass.
Wow. Oh, don't like that.
it was a good shot, though.
Yes, but also don't like that.
Those were all for soldiers, Sam.
I know.
Oh,
Wow. Okay, but also, yeah.
They're dead now, but they were filming probably.
Yes.
All right, well then we gotta work together.
That's not happening. Just because you carry that shield, it doesn't mean you're Captain America.
Does he always just stare like that?
Yes.
You get used to it.
If you joined up with us, I mean, we could.
I'm Battlestar, John Spangled.
Stop the car!
I'm just trying to be the best Captain America I can be. A lot easier if I had Cap's wingman on my side.
Oh, cap swing. Okay, you just said the
That last line.
said the wrong thing. I think they feel like they established themselves as heroes in their own right.
Which is fair, but he also might have meant wingmen like friends. I mean, people call their friends wingmen.
Sam certainly didn't take it that way.
Right.
Every day more people love you.
Carly, we can't stay here for long.
We can't let the same arseholes who were put back in power after the blip win. Because after tomorrow, there's no going back.
One word.
One people.
Let's take the shield, Sam.
Do you remember what happened the last time we stole it? Sharon was branded enemy of the state, and Steve and I were on the run for 2 years.
There is someone.
Hey, Black Falcon!
Because I'm black and I'm the Falcon? So are you Black Kid? I got him, right?
We're here to see Isaiah. Tell him the guy from the bar in Goyang is here. Isaiah?
Look at you.
He was a hero. One of the ones that Hydra feared the most.
I took half that metal arm in that fight in Goyang. I just wanted to see if you got the arm back. You think you can wake up one day and decide who you want to be? It doesn't work like that. Maybe it does for folks like you.
There's more of you and me out there.
You and me. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. You know what they did to me? They put my ass in jail for 30 years, taking my blood. Even your people weren't done with me.
Isaiah.
Get out of my house!
Why didn't you tell me about Isaiah? Steve didn't know about him?
He didn't. I didn't tell him.
That there was a black super soldier decades ago and nobody knew about it.
Look, is this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
Really?
Oh, God.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wilson.
I'm
That's not okay.
sorry about this.
That's 1,000,000% not okay. Somebody asks for his autograph, I'm going to scream.
I didn't tell anybody because he'd already been through enough.
You missed your court-mandated therapy. It's like missing a check-in with your PO. Sorry, Mr. Barnes. You're under arrest.
Oh, man.
That sucks.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for getting him out.
That was not me.
Bucky's not going to be following a strict schedule any longer.
We haven't finished our work. Who authorized this?
Got some unfinished business, him and I. You too, Wilson. I'll be outside.
Who would like to start?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
See? Making progress already.
Yay.
You guys are leaving me with no choice. It's time for the soul-gazing exercise. Sam, face each other.
Let's do it. Let's stare.
Get close.
This is good exercise. Thanks, Doc.
You happy
Whoa.
now?
All right.
Right.
Good.
Extra close.
It's a little close.
It's very close. That's what you wanted, right?
Guys. Wait, what are you doing? Just blink. Sweet Jesus. All right.
Why'd you give up that shield? Steve believed in you. I mean, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
You finished? But can you accept that I did what I thought was right? I don't have time for this. I will squash it. And when we're done, we both can go on separate long vacations. Thanks, Doc, for making it weird. See you outside.
Thank you.
Well, I feel better.
Gentlemen,
Ugh.
if we divide ourselves, we don't stand a chance. You guys know that.
Things are really intense for you, aren't they, Walker?
We're free agents. We're more flexible. So it wouldn't make sense for us to work with you.
A word of advice, then. Stay the hell out of my way.
Carly in the comics is Carl. So, a little gender swap there.
They found us.
How much time do we have?
None. It's the power brokers, man.
It's Power Broker's men. Okay, so they did get their powers from the Power Broker.
I can give you time.
So now I'm wondering if John Walker will go to the Power Broker to up his game. I'm going to guess the Power Broker is what takes them to Madripoor, which we know is happening from some of the trailers.
They got away. So what are you thinking?
Isaiah said my people.
Don't take that to heart. That's not what he meant.
No, he meant Hydra. Hydra used to be my people.
I know where you're going with this, and no,
He knows all of Hydra's secrets. Don't you remember Siberia?
we're gonna go see Zemo.
It's very much like when Loki got that guy's eyeball.
That is it for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Star-Spangled Man. Heidi, your thoughts?
Okay, so I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the idea of a new Captain America. I mean, he wasn't going to be my favorite Captain America by any stretch.
Sure. Well, and I'm not sure he'll be Captain America by the end of the series.
No, definitely not. But I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think that he's, under anyone's influence. I think he's truly just trying to be the best that he can for what he's been handed. So I'm not gonna rag on him too much.
So let me talk a little bit about who John Walker is in the comics, for those that don't know, and if you do know, then you can tune this out. But in the comics, John Walker was picked to replace Steve Rogers after Steve Rogers stepped down. He had a falling out with the government agency that was trying to kind of manhandle and control what Captain America was. So Cap gave up the shield and gave up the costume and went his own way. Was calling himself Nomad for a while, and then later just the Captain, which was very kind of vague. But with that absence, the agency that was kind of controlling all of that picked a guy named John Walker. Now, John Walker was not a military guy at the time that they chose him. He was actually another costumed hero known as Super Patriot that Cap had a few run-ins with. Before that, they didn't see eye to eye. Super Patriot was much more brutal, much more willing to get violent. And he had a couple of or 2 or 3 sidekick characters that kind of followed him around that were part of his little posse, and they would get into skirmishes together or whatever. When they tapped him to be Captain America, he only got to keep one of his 3 guys that were with him. So he picked the friend that became Battlestar, and he became the new Bucky character, Battlestar. They introduced him to the world as Captain America, and you continue to read about his adventures in the Captain America book, while at the same time following Steve Rogers, dealing with the ramifications of his decision and that kind of thing. What made John Walker a bad Captain America was that he actually was superpowered with powers from the Power Broker, as I mentioned before, and he was a little bit. A little bit over the line when it came to violence, as I said. And some bad things happened, including someone going directly after his parents and killing them, and him finding out that some of the people behind that were the 2 partners that didn't get tapped to be his new buddies.
Rough.
So they took their
revenge.
I believe they were right-winger and left-winger, by the way. If I remember correctly. And so he ended up brutally murdering them for what they had done, which was very un-Captain America-like.
Yeah.
And
vengeance begets vengeance.
Steve Rogers knew about it, and the government knew about it, but the government kind of swept it under the rug. And then ultimately in a battle with the Red Skull, the Red Skull was offended at basically having to face a pretender. And beat John Walker within an inch of his life and shamed him and did all kinds of stuff to him. And Steve Rogers came back in as the captain and fought alongside Walker and saved Walker's life. And eventually Walker just gave him the shield and said, I'm done. The real deal's back. Throughout the years, as a character called the U.S. Agent, Walker's been a part of the Avengers. He's been, a decent character. He is always kind of brash. He's always a little bit full of himself, a little bit too eager to take command. So I think they're playing true to his character, but he's not a bad person. He just isn't very personable. He just doesn't deal with team situations very well. And that's changed. That has varied depending on who's writing him. But I feel like, while yes, he's a little bit brash and he's not always saying things the right way, that they are getting across that his intentions are good. He just may be out of his depth with the responsibility of being Captain America.
Yeah.
And being a normal Joe, if that's the case. We assume that's the case from what we've seen and from what he said.
Right.
But if he's just a normal Joe, then having to fight superpowered bad guys is going to eventually be a problem.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what they do with that as time passes in this series. We've got 4 more episodes to go. Your thoughts about Isaiah Bradley?
He is 1,000% right to be upset, for sure. I think Jeff's told me a little bit about that character as well, and it's hard to watch, but not unexpected, unfortunately, for how relations are at this day and age. And we're assuming that we're about 2025 here, right? 2023, 2020. What year is it?
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, it's
so,
a little bit in our future.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken forever to get to where we are in 2021, and there's just, it's still not right. Yeah. So I'm not at all, his actions and reactions are, completely understandable and expected.
In the comics, Isaiah Bradley was given a super soldier serum that was a precursor to the Steve Rogers serum. Because, unfortunately, in that era, there was a lot of testing done on African Americans, on African American soldiers when they were testing new medications, testing new things. It's not a good look for any government anywhere to treat any human being as lesser, whether it's because of skin color or class or religion or whatever. And unfortunately, that's a real part of our history. So the character of Isaiah Bradley, at least in the comics, had been given that before Steve Rogers was. I don't know that that's what they're doing here. I know that he met Bucky during the Korean War. So did he have the super soldier serum before Steve Rogers did? Maybe not. It doesn't matter. The way he was treated certainly matters. Yeah. Being imprisoned and treated like a lab rat is a problem. They may be going the route that since the super soldier serum was destroyed, that they tested on people, variations after that, which is how we got to that. But either way, however they handle it here, obviously it's a man with a lot of history and a lot of pain, who's been mistreated by his own country and by the people that he fought for. That would certainly have ramifications on anybody and their psyche. In the comics, his grandson Eli becomes a character known as Patriot, who's one of the Young Avengers. Whether we get to that point in any of this, who knows? Yeah. But yeah, interesting to see those characters pop up.
Eli was the one who answered the door.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe
that's why I said Eli, because I wondered. I don't know if he ever said his name, but
maybe you.
But
said
I said Eli because I assumed that's who that was. Yeah, but that definitely an interesting character, and I hope that they dive some more into that history. Whether it is, there are always going to be fans of genre shows that cringe when things get too political, but I don't think it's political. I think it's historical. It's a truth that we have to deal with. Now, if they start being preachy and beating us over the head with something, that's one thing. But I think what they're doing is exploring the real past of how African Americans have been treated in our country and what effect that's having in the present on Sam Wilson, who feels unworthy of the responsibility that he was given by Steve for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that question in the back of his mind, is America ready for a black Captain America? And I think somebody like Isaiah Bradley can help him answer that question.
Perhaps.
And hopefully can bring some things to light that will make Sam feel more comfortable filling those shoes. And like he's stepping into, if not Steve's shoes, then another man's shoes that he feels like he can carry a torch for and carry the banner for.
A legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but also not only like Sam's personal like psyche as far as this goes, but like literally as they were walking out of there, what can happen in today.
Sure.
Which is terrible. But good. I would say good on them for, portraying that as true to expectations, unfortunately.
Right.
But, I was going to be really angry if one of them asked him for an autograph or something.
After last week's banking fiasco.
Yeah, that was going to be like, again, and also, how dare you? But thankfully, we missed that, and it turned out it was Bucky who got arrested.
Yeah.
Oops.
I did like the interaction with the therapist here, and I feel like, what Bucky said was the most
that was really
real thing that's come out of him.
Yeah, very
because
raw.
he's very stoic and reserved when it comes to his own feelings and emotions. But that notion of, if Steve's wrong about you, maybe he's wrong about me, I can understand the fear of that, especially given that he's a man who feels like he can't trust too much about himself. His mind has been messed with repeatedly by some of the worst people on the planet.
Yeah.
And so he may be free of their manipulation now, but he's not free of the blank slate that's still there, asking that question, who am I? Am I good? Am I bad? What am I capable of? What am I not capable of? And, Steve believes in me. That's one thing in my positive column. If I can't count on that, that's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for him to take that position. Of course, you hate to see it because, we've gotten to know Bucky throughout these films and we believe that he's capable of great things, but it makes sense that there would be damage and residual,
of course,
things to be dealt with, from all of that.
Yeah.
I love the camaraderie of the two, as always. Glad to see them together in this episode. Anytime they were on screen together, they have great chemistry, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, if this series works and is something that has the same kind of, it's a very different kind of show than WandaVision, but if it has the same kind of impact, the same water cooler, everybody talking about it kind of thing that WandaVision had, it'll be mainly because of the chemistry of those two.
Yeah, I would, absolutely that, but also, like, you can't help but to expect that there's going to be something big that comes out of this.
Probably.
You had said at the beginning of this is the most MCU-like thing that we are going to be getting for a little bit. And, I can see that there might be some people who, skipped WandaVision and it's like, oh, wow, you really needed to watch that. And then there I can also see that some people will be like, Falcon, Winter Soldier, they're not really my favorites. I don't really have to watch this. But I'm like, I feel like if anybody has invested time in the MCU, has watched like 2/3 of the movies or more, and anything else that has been associated with it, missing this is probably going to be a big deal. So I would say not to, just because there's going to be so much more happening, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying the ride so far, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 episodes to see how they land this plane and what it means, if anything, for Phase 4 as it continues.
Yeah.
We know, Bucky especially, because he wasn't just frozen for 100 years like Steve was almost, that he actually was active at certain points. He has these weird connections like Isaiah Bradley, like meeting Natasha at some point in the past. Like he has connections deeper into the MCU. I think it'd be a lot of fun to play with those connections, to play with that past. And then also this notion of watching Sam grow into these giant shoes that have been left for him to fill. Yeah. And I think the answer to that question that he has is, you're not Steve. It's like what Happy said to Peter Parker about Tony. You're not Tony. You're never going to be Tony. And trying to be Tony would be the biggest mistake that you can make. You need to be Peter. That's what Tony wanted you to be. Yep. I think that's the answer to this. Yep. What Steve saw in Sam was who Sam can be. Yep. Not, gosh, he's just like me, reminds me of myself. No. I think he saw Sam for who he is and said, man, Sam is a good man, and he's what America should aspire to be. And that's what people said about me. I think that's a great choice. So I think, Steve, the last thing Steve would expect would be for Sam to be a carbon copy of Steve. I don't think that that's realistic, and I don't think that's what Bucky's expecting either. Yeah. So I think Sam just needs to get the message, Yeah. So I guess we'll see more of John Walker. We'll see more of Flag Smasher. We'll see more of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll see possibly Zemo next episode, and maybe some Sharon Carter who got name dropped in this episode. So lots of stuff to look forward to with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What we want to know is, what did you think of this episode? You can let us know in the comments down below. What do you hope to see in the next 4 episodes as this series continues? What are you hoping the impact will be on the MCU? Who do you hope's carrying the shield at the end of this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that we're all hoping it's Falcon, but people can have different opinions. So share those opinions down below and let us know. If you like this content, you want to see the uninterrupted, yes, definitely give us a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. But also, if you want to see the uninterrupted, unedited version of this, you can sync up our full-length reaction with Disney Plus and watch along. You just need to be a Patreon subscriber. That info is down in the description as well. Anything else, Heidi, before we go?
No, I'm excited to see more.
I am too. I wish that, I'm torn between the wishing there was more to watch right now and the enjoying having a week between episodes to think about what I saw.
Yeah.
Right now, I think I'll just enjoy looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.